This time I would like to call to order the Pleasant Valley Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for March 26, 2025. If you would stand to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, let me explain the protocol. This meeting has two parts. The first part is a public hearing. Each item is heard separately. Anyone wishing to comment on the agenda item may do so at this time. Be advised that all comments become part of the official record and therefore are taken under oath. The second part of the meeting is dedicated to deliberations and decision-making. No further comment from the public is allowed at that time. So the first item on the agenda is appeal number 1076, Stephen Fischler, 2153 Route 44, who would like to erect a 30 by 60 garage in front of the residence, which is against Pleasant Valley Code. If you would go up to the podium, state your name and address, and tell us your problem.
My name is David Beckwith.
Just make sure to turn it on, please.
My name is David Beckwith. I'm the architect for Mr. Fischler.
Mr. Beckwith, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please be advised that you are under oath and any false statements made by you are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so Mr. Fischler would like to replace the existing shed that he has with a new one that's obviously a lot nicer and larger for his storage needs. We're placing it basically where the existing shed was. So I prepared a little simple site plan and a foundation drawing because it is a prefabricated building. It comes as a kit. And the town zoning officials determined that it was in fact in front of the line of the house. So that's why we're here seeking relief. And I believe that it's a very minimal amount of relief that we're seeking because of the size and the shape of the property, and because it's still, even though it might be technically in front of the house, I'm not sure exactly how that's determined, but it would be by a small amount. I don't think it's particularly visible even in the winter from neighboring houses. And again, it's set back quite a ways from the road, like 300 feet from the inside upper jog of approximately 300 feet of the flag lot. So it's like, I don't know, probably 500, 600 feet from Route 44.
Okay, there's already a foundation there, is there not?
Well, there was some sort of foundation for the existing shed. I don't know what that entails. Now, our builder could probably speak to that. If
You can get up. You can get up, sure.
So the existing shed is much smaller.
Your name, I need your name.
My name's Dan Pellish.
Pellish, okay. And Mr. Pellish, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You're advised the same as Mr. Beckwith was.
Yep. So there was an existing small foundation for the shed that was there, which is no longer there. So the new foundation is just bigger. It's in the same spot. And like he was saying, it's very close. It's only probably 2 or 3 feet. The way they determine it is the front plane of the house, right?
It's determined by the line,
Right.
wherever the front
Yep.
line of the house
that-
is, anything in front of that.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we have it kicked based on the way that the rock and the ground lays out. Otherwise, we'd have to cut in further slid it back. So it's kitty-cornered in there with about, 2 or 3 feet of one corner of it, technically in front of that front plane.
Looks like a good spot for it to me,
Tucked
so,
away nice, so.
yeah. All right,
It was the most logical place we could put it for the money and what made the most sense.
okay. Anyone have any questions? Robert? Ron?
Ron, could you turn on your microphone?
Is it a peaked roof that will
Yep.
go on the structure?
Yeah, it's a prefab building, so it's all steel.
So I see the height of the walls are 18 and a half.
Yep.
And-
Well, I'm just doing the foundation there, so, I'm not sure exactly the specifics on the height of the building.
I can address that.
I'm sure it's on.
The roof is more like a shed. It's a single slope rather than a peak, gable, or double slope. And the height, these are the drawings from the manufacturer. Bear with me a moment. So on the low side of the shed roof, it would be 16 feet from the floor up to the roof eave. And on the high side, it would be 18 feet 6 inches from the floor up to the roof eave.
And it pitches toward the back of the building. The high part is in the front?
The high part would be on the, I think that would be the side facing away from the road? Yeah, the high side would be the front side facing away from the road, yeah.
That's all I have.
Ms. Perkins, do you have any questions? Yeah.
So it's 18 feet 6 inches is the highest, and that's not going to be higher than the house?
That's correct, yeah, the house is 2 stories.
No, that was the only question I had. Oh, wait a minute, I have one more. Sorry.
Too late.
Did I do my math right?
Mary, could you put your microphone close?
Did I do my math right, and this is going to be 1,800 square feet? Okay.
Yeah, 30 by 60, yep. that's
Okay,
right.
all right, that's it.
Okay, my one question would be, as you stand in the driveway and look at where the proposed building is going, the trees on the left-hand side, are they all going to be left in?
Yes.
They are, okay. Okay, yeah, I was just concerned about neighbors seeing the building, yeah.
Danny, could you just get up to the microphone?
Can't hear you.
We're taking minutes, I feel bad, I don't want to be rude, but we need to take all the notes, and if we can't hear you, that's.
I'm just saying, even now with no foliage on any of the trees, it's hard to see. So obviously, once mid-spring comes around, you wouldn't be able to see it even from, probably even from their house, really, it'd be tough.
Driveway
With trees all
to
the way
the
around.
garage.
Okay, thank you.
Mary? Or Kathy?
Is it going to be an overhead door, or what kind of a door is on? Is it like a
Yeah,
garage door?
on the end that faces the driveway, there would be an overhead door.
It is an overhead.
So
okay.
as you're looking at the end of it, you'll see the shed-shaped roof,
Right.
The taller wall, shorter wall, and then the roof, and there would be a overhead door there. And there's also a man door,
Okay.
so you can just open the door and go in.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Kish?
Nope, I'm okay.
When you go up the driveway, how are you gonna get to the garage? Are you gonna put a little driveway into the garage there?
Well, there is sort of is it going to stay the way it is now? Yeah. So
All right.
there's sort of a drive there. It's, the soil is very thin. It would be mowed, but, you can easily, drive across it because it's, the soil is very thin there. And there's a natural path or a path that was established that goes from the paved driveway over to the shed, and that's pretty close to the front of the house where that veers off when you go over there.
Okay.
This is a little larger than what I would call a two-car garage. What's the intent to be stored in it?
What would you say? Thank you. Yep.
Hi, everyone.
Your name?
My name is Anila Fischler.
Ms. Fischler, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay.
So, the question was about the cars, right?
What you're gonna use the garage for?
So, the garage is gonna be used only for storage. We have already some, the snow machines and mowing machines. Also, my husband works on books. He works on comics, so we're thinking to bring books and storage there. So we would just need the hand cart to go, because as I was listening to you guys, the questions about how we're gonna drive there, it's gonna be hand carts. So we don't need cars to get to that. And you know, garage is used for technical words because it's mostly storage.
Okay. Anyone else have any more questions? Anyone in the audience that wishes to address this item on the agenda? In that case, I would ask to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Okay. Now you can hang out and see what we decide after we hear the rest of the applications, or you can go ahead home now and call the office tomorrow and they'll let you know. Okay? Okay, second on the agenda is Donna Milano, 1040 Freedom Road. Hello?
Hi, my name is Donna Milano.
Ms. Milano, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be advised that you are under oath, and any false statements made by you are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York.
Yes.
Okay, what would you like to do?
I believe you have some of the documentation in front of you. We would like to build a garage in front of our house, and we really, oh, I'm sorry. We would,
Just bend it down towards you.
No, you gotta get closer to it.
okay, is that better?
That's better.
Okay. We would like to build a garage in front of our home, and we don't have too many choices of where we can place the garage. The property is sort of a pie-shaped, so the only way we can get a garage in there is to put it between the house and the road.
Where do you park your car now?
Actually, when you pull into the driveway, about maybe half of the way between the road and the house, there's a,
Like a little thing that goes off to the left?
yeah, a little parking area, and then I usually pull my car all the way up as close to the house as possible.
Okay. Mr. Kish, do you have any questions?
What's the proximity of the stream from the,
The stream is, let's see, I don't know, what do you, let's see. Where that little pull-in spot is, there's probably room for 2 vehicles between where that little pull-in spot is and the stream. And the stream doesn't go straight across, it kind of starts up here and then goes across this way more towards the road.
that's a continuous running stream?
The stream, I believe, goes underneath the road and then goes into
Right,
the
but it's
Wapachees.
running all the time, it doesn't dry up in the summer?
It used to dry up sometimes, you know, it depends. Sometimes it's dry completely, sometimes it's running.
Okay, thank
To be honest with you, it's a little annoying.
Does it ever flood or get close to flood stage?
The only time it does that is when everybody else also gets flooded. And actually, the way it's running is, No, it doesn't do that. You know, like I said, the only time it's really done that is when everybody else and the town hall has gotten flooded. It's pretty good.
Okay. Kathy?
I don't have any questions.
Mr. Dunn?
This is gonna sound like, like a stupid, maybe minuscule question, but because it's running water, do we need any kind of a seeker?
Any kind of what?
The seeker, which is a State Environmental Quality Review Act.
When I came to the office, I believe I was told that I didn't, that there was a gentleman there and he went and got pictures of the property line and all that. And I asked that question about it, does it have to be a certain distance from the road? And does it have to be a certain distance from the stream? And there was no qualification for that.
Yeah, my concern is that we get it taken care of ahead of time rather than, you know, have it sneak up and,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and I haven't gone any further with anything because I was waiting to get approval, but I'm assuming that when we get the guy in to do the excavation, he can take a look at how close it becomes, how close it gets and make recommendations, and I don't know if we'd be allowed to just move it over a little bit, if that does become an issue in his eyes.
okay, thank you.
In the garage, do you plan on using that garage like to change oil in your vehicles or anything like that? Are you gonna have running water?
No, I don't believe, that would be something that I'd like, but I think that would be prohibitive because they'd have to come all the way across the creek, across the stream, because the well is up near the house. And that just seems like an awful big project to do, unless we can pump water from the stream. No, right?
I know nothing.
That's probably a no.
That's okay. So the answer to that then would be no, no water.
I just wanted to get into the record that you're not gonna change your oil or anything there, because that would be a problem.
We don't know how to do that.
Okay. Ms. Perkins, do you have any questions for the applicant?
I do have one question. When I was there and I saw where you were gonna put it, it's gonna be a hike in the winter with groceries and stuff from where your garage will be to the house.
That's why I park my car way up. I go over the little bridge and park my car next to the house.
I was just wondering, could you just attach it to the house where your pull up, where your retaining wall is, attach it, put the garage there, build yourself a nice room on top and
I've thought of that, but to do that, we'd have to play dominoes with getting the cars out because the bridge that you drive over is only one lane.
yeah.
So we'd have to always jockey which cars were in the way to get over the bridge to get out. Plus, I don't know that we could do that because it might be too close to the property
Yeah.
line.
You would need a variance for the property
Yes, up
line.
at that part, and I'm not so, pardon me, I'm not so sure that we'd get that. But I have given that many thoughts.
That was my only question.
Okay.
I have no questions.
I have no questions either.
Well, all right. Is there anyone in the audience that has any questions or wants to comment on this item on the agenda? Okay, then we will close the public hearing for this item. You can stay and wait and hear the deliberations later on, or you can go ahead home and call in the morning. It's up to you, okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next, oh, you're gonna have to help me with how to. I'll bet it's not. Okay, Mr., and tell me how to say your name.
Hi, my name is Arcadius Piegdon.
Arcadius.
Yes.
Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please be advised that you are under oath, and any false statements made by you are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York. Now, tell the board what you'd like to do.
Hi. First, thank you all for having us. I'm here with the homeowner, Sam Knowlton. I'm Arcadius. I'm the architect from Limbres and Architects. We're just looking for a very modest relief for the front yard setback. Unfortunately, we have a house built in 1955 that's 15 feet from the road. We're trying to expand the deck 6 feet to the east and 32 inches to the north in order to have a staircase down to a lower level terrace that's going to measure about 18 feet 6 across and 16 feet to the north. It's just exterior work. The lower terrace is about 9 feet from the road, and that's about it. Thank you.
What's the variance that you need?
So right now,
The front yard,
is 70 feet, and the house itself is 15 feet, so we're basically building inside the 70-foot front yard variance, completely within the setback.
so you need 55 foot, okay. I had 54, right.
If you have the plot plan, G001, it kind of shows you that we're in that no man's land of the front yard setback.
Okay. Mr. Boucher, do you have any questions?
No, I do not.
No question.
Mary?
No question.
No question.
No
Kathy?
questions.
Robert?
So the expanded deck, is that gonna be an open deck?
Yes, it's going to be completely open,
Okay.
pretty similar to what you have now, but we're going to have a railing of shingles. That's kind of a stylistic difference from what you saw there.
And underneath it is gonna be open, or?
It's open, as it is currently now.
All right, thank you.
I have no questions. It looks like there's not 2 feet of land level in that whole area.
Yes, the staircase is going to help a lot.
I would guess so.
I've fallen down too many times now.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to comment on this? Okay, then we'll close the public hearing for item number 3. And we'll start deliberations. Back to number 1. Okay, does anyone have any comments on number 1? You want to go through the
Each question.
balancing? I'm getting there. I have in the packet the notifications to the neighbors and the notification for the newspaper, just so everyone knows. Okay. Fingers don't work right. Okay, the first question is, will there be an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties if the variance is granted? Who would I hear talking?
It's outside.
In the hallway.
Okay. I could not see where there would be anything undesirable. Oh, Bob's gonna handle it. He's got it. I've never been accused of being quiet, but I don't want to compete with, people in the hallway. Thank you. Will there be an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties? That house has been there since 1955. I can't imagine that anything, oh wait, that's the wrong house. 2153, sorry. I'm reading the wrong thing here. Will there be an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood? If anything, I think that garage will fit well in with the parameters of the house. It really, where they're gonna put it, really fits nicely, kind of snug off into the trees and into the side, so it won't be obtrusive in any way at all. Does anyone else have anything?
No, I just said the property is set back plus or minus a quarter mile from the road in a heavily
Yeah.
wooded area.
Right.
You're not gonna see it from 44. It just, partially breaks the plane of the front house. Like you said, it's nicely set amongst the trees, and I don't see how it could be a detriment to properties or the neighborhood.
So you want to vote? Does anyone have another comment?
No, it's pretty much hidden, so
Yeah,
Okay.
not visible from the road.
right, I agree.
All right. What we are doing at this moment is, there's what is called a balance test that has to be done for every area variance. And we use this test to determine whether or not the variance should be granted. All right. So, on question number 1, is it a detriment to nearby properties? I say no. Mr. Dunn?
No.
Mr. Kish?
Okay.
Okay, what?
Not a detriment. Not a detriment.
He means no, not a detriment.
Oh, no, it's not, no.
Kathy?
No, not a detriment.
Mary?
No.
Patty Smith is absent. Mr. Ron?
No.
And Robert?
No.
Okay. The next question is, can the benefit sought be achieved by any other feasible method which would not require an area variance or a lesser variance? Myself, I think yes, that it probably could. However, it would not, moving it closer to where it should be, maybe to the house, it would not fit in with the character of the property itself. Everything is kind of lined. You know, this side over here, he has a pond, and then the garage, and then over here, the house. I think it's nice. It leaves a nice open recreational area. That's my opinion. So can the benefit be achieved by some other way not to require the variance? I guess it could, but it would interfere with, it would take away from recreational area on the lawn. Is that?
Yeah,
I don't know how
and
else
it
to-
would,
Yeah,
it's,
it
this
would
is
still be
easy
in front of the
access for
house.
the
Right.
equipment for the
Right.
maintenance of the house and
Oh,
the
good.
pool and
There you
all
go.
that.
Okay.
There's no other way, there's no place on the property that it could be placed that would not be in front of the house.
Well, that's true.
So there is no other feasible method.
Oh, well, thank
Right.
you. So the answer is yes. Mr. Dunn?
No, the
There is no
answer
other feasible method? Yes, right?
Correct, there is no other feasible.
That's, yeah, that's what I was,
Because placing it on the other side of the driveway would just be even more
right,
interference.
right.
Well, the question is, can the benefit be sought by any other feasible method? And we would have to say no.
No.
No, okay.
Okay.
No?
All right. Kathy said no already. Mr. Mauser?
No.
Mary?
No.
Ron?
No.
Okay, I'm busy scratching people off here. Already. It's the first time we're using it, and already it's not correct. Okay, the third question, is the requested area variance substantial? Well, I would say it is. However, that does not preclude granting the variance. I mean, any variance that it's in front of the line of the house, so it's 100% variance, right?
I guess, because it's not a certain footage that
Right,
we're,
right, so, is it substantial? I would say yes, but I don't think that,
But it's not detrimental. It's,
Right.
it is substantial, but not.
all right, Mr. Dunn?
No.
No what? It's not substantial?
Yeah, that question is always.
That's always a tough question.
Yeah, I mean, could we build it closer to the side of the house? Yeah,
But it wouldn't look right,
and it would also require a lot more excavation.
right? All right, Robert? We're still getting used to this new system we're using here, Robert.
The variance is how much?
It's 100, I think it's 100% because they want to put it in front of the front line of the house.
Is it 100%? Because it's only partially. It
Well,
breaks
I
the
don't,
plane only
do we know
partially.
what part though? So,
I don't know if it's 50 or 25 or,
I guess it's all in how we look at it.
Because the diagram in the documentation says the front setback is 252 feet to the corner of the house. So it'd be that, whatever distance forward from the house to the garage, and then how wide the garage is, that's how much, and then back to the road is how much they're asking for, right?
All right, so it really is,
52 plus 30,
I don't know.
282.
I didn't know how many feet it was, I didn't see anything indicated,
all right.
unless I missed it.
The question is the requested area variance substantial?
Yes.
Yes.
But they're not giving us a requested variance.
Requested variance would be the width of the garage, which is 30, and as you said, 252 for the house, would make it 282, right?
Are you talking to the road?
No,
no, to the.
from the front of the house.
Oh, the front of the house.
The plane, breaking, how much
Yeah.
is breaking the plane?
So you're focused on just the fact that it's in front of the house,
Right.
not any front setback?
Just the fact that it's in front of the house, it's 100% variance
All right,
because you're not allowed to have
I
that.
guess the answer would be yes.
Okay. Mary?
Yeah,
Ron?
Yes, it is.
All right. Whew. Okay, question number 4. Will this proposed area variance, if granted, have any adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood?
I don't think so, especially since it's replacing one that was already there.
All right. I say no. Mr. Dunn?
No.
Steve?
Nope.
Kathy?
No.
Mr. Mauser?
No?
All right, and Ron?
No.
Okay. This is like torture. Something new is always, it's like a new program, right? It takes you forever. Question number 5, is the alleged difficulty self-created? I think the answer is yes. However, that does not, that's not a reason to deny a variance. Mr. Dunn?
Of course, yes.
Mr. Kish?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
And Mr. Mauser?
Yes?
Mary?
Yes.
And Ron?
Yes.
All right. Holy cow. Okay. Now, are there any further comments that anyone would like to make before we vote on this?
I'm just wondering about the front, putting any kind of a structure in front of the house. Should we know how many feet it is in front of the house? Or, because it would seem to me that that would, play into it. I mean, being totally in front of the house as opposed to a foot in front of the house. One would be
Normally,
a lot
I'm
more
a
substantial
stickler
than-
like that also.
Yeah.
Normally, I want to know to the inch. I don't feel that strongly with this one because the parcel is unique enough, the way everything is spread out and
Right.
kind of set off on its own, so I didn't really consider that. So how does everyone else feel about that?
Are they held to this? I know it's a primitive drawing, but
I don't know.
This says side setback is 216.
Let's see.
And then it says, property, the rear setback. Now, I don't know if that's for the building or for this garage. Are they still here? They're gone, okay.
It's for the garage bay.
It's for the garage?
yeah, I think that all
Okay.
would be in reference to the garage, yes.
All right. I don't feel the need to know that one for this, application itself. How does everyone else feel?
Well, I like complete documents.
So what do you want, hold this?
No, I just wanna hear whatever, I'm just saying
Oh,
what I like,
okay.
but I'd like to hear what everybody else has to say.
I don't have any issue with it.
He doesn't have an issue with it.
Yeah. It's not that I have an
Steve?
issue with it, it's just.
Do you have an issue?
Oh, go ahead.
No.
It's not that I have an issue with it, I just think that in the future, we should probably know how far in front of the house
Yes.
it,
Well, on the second
is.
page, it states part of the new building will be forward of the front plane of the house. So
right,
part,
but how much forward?
part of it, right, yeah,
Yeah,
so.
like 3 feet,
Right.
50
you know.
feet, 17 feet, you know, that's.
That's what she's
Yeah,
saying.
right.
So, are you okay to go ahead with this, or do you wanna hold it and let?
Yeah,
them
no,
find out?
it's fine, it's not that much, but, you know,
All right.
I just,
I do have proof from notification of the neighbors and notification that was in the newspaper, just so that it can go into the record. Okay. Are everyone ready to vote? Fingers won't work, okay. An area variance results in a modification of physical restrictions so that an allowable use may be established on the property. For example, yard requirements, setback lines, lot coverage, frontage requirements, or density regulations, so that the property may be utilized for one of the uses permitted by the zoning ordinance. Whereas the applicant Daniel Pellish and Stephen Fishler in appeal number 1076 submitted an application for an area variance under the code of the town of Pleasant Valley. Whereas such documentation has been duly considered by the board at a public meeting, and whereas an area variance is a request for relief from dimensional standards contained in the zoning ordinance. The criteria submitted is attached to this resolution, which is the balancing test that we just went through. That criteria was voted upon the board, whereas the board should grant the minimum relief necessary to allow reasonable use of the land. Therefore, be it resolved that the board finds that the following special circumstances or conditions exist which apply to the applicant's land. The board finds that the parcel is big enough and unique enough that placing the garage where requested does not appear to sit in front of the main structure. And be it further resolved that the board finds that the above circumstances or conditions are such that strict application of the provisions of Chapter 98 of the Code of the Town of Pleasant Valley results in practical difficulty and would deprive the applicant, I think that paragraph needs to go. Resolved that the reason set forth above, the board determines that the granting of the variance is necessary and for the reasonable use of the applicant's land, and that the variance is granted is the minimum variance that will accomplish the proposed purpose. Resolved that the board determines that granting of the variance will be in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the zoning chapter of the Code of Pleasant Valley and will not be injurious to the neighbor or otherwise detrimental to public welfare. I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, shall we do right on down the, oh, that's what we need on the back of this one. Okay, Mr. Mr. Prove. Mr. Kish,
In favor.
Ms. Myers,
in favor.
Mr. Dunn,
In favor.
Ms. Perkins,
In favor.
Mr. Perry,
In favor.
and Mr. Bowser,
In favor?
and myself. Yes. Okay. All right. You want me to go over this with you later or tomorrow or something? Okay. All righty. They've already left, right?
The first one, sure.
Yes, okay. Next on the agenda is Donna Milano, 1040 Freedom Road. Huh?
Wasn't it, Mr. Bishop?
No. No, I don't think so. Okay, let me find it. Anybody have any comments before we start the balancing test? Okay. Question number 1, will there be an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties if the variance is granted? Mr. Dunn,
No.
Mr. Kish,
No, I don't think so.
Ms. Myers,
No, I don't think so.
Mr. Mauser,
No?
Ms. Perkins.
I'm not a big fan of garages built in front of the house. However, after looking around at all the properties around and seeing that this is kind of on the side of the property next to the driveway, I'm okay with it.
The garage is kind of tucked over on
Tucked
the,
over
yeah,
on the side. It's not dead in front of the house.
right. My vote is no. Okay.
Would you like my vote?
Didn't I ask you? Because I wrote that, oh, I didn't write that next to it.
Already.
I'm okay with it.
Well, that's good. Okay. Question number 2. Can the benefit sought be achieved by any other feasible method which would not require an area variance or a lesser variance? Now, that question sometimes can be tricky because I guess she could, it would be far more difficult to put that garage where you suggested or, back by the house. So I think the answer to this one is no.
What would the difficulty be?
Yeah, what would the difficulty be? Because I don't
Well,
see it as a
because she'd have to
difficulty,
go over the creek.
which you already do.
Well, but she stated the difficulty would be that they would
You'd
have to.
have to switch vehicles
switch
around.
That's a real nightmare. I've done that.
Well, it could be done. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a overwhelming difficulty.
But she would still need an area variance.
Oh,
Because of
yes,
the size.
clearly.
Right, well, that's the
Yeah, yes,
question,
clear.
which would not require an area variance
Or a lesser variance?
or a lesser variance, so I think the answer is no. Mr. Dunn, it's up, everybody, that's,
All right, I'll go with it.
no, you say what you think.
No, I just,
Microphone.
okay.
Can the benefit be achieved by any other feasible method which would not require an area variance?
Yes, putting it up next to the house.
Well, no, she would still need a variance,
Why?
because of the,
Side plane?
no, the property line is right there.
Oh, okay, okay.
Well, it does say or a lesser variance.
Right.
Yeah.
And what does the board think is the lesser? The side setback or in front of the house?
The entire being set in front of the house.
I
Is-
think
is-
that's the bigger variance.
If,
Of
in front of the house is
Yeah.
the bigger variance.
Yeah.
My opinion, that's my opinion.
Yeah, we've always held that, that's why it's in the code, that, under normal circumstances, there should not be a building in front of the main residence.
That's true. However, I see this as, Mary stated before, it's not directly in front of the building, it's so far away and kind of off to the side. So it
But it's
makes
still in
it,
front of the it's still in the front
well,
yard.
it is, yes, but it doesn't, it's not in your face in front of the building.
It's not dead set in front of the
There you
building.
go. That's, yeah, I wrote that down, garage is not dead in front of the house.
No.
Dead in front of the.
Well, that's what you said, that's what
I
you
said,
wrote.
I said dead
Well,
set.
one of the things I think we ought to ask, that the zoning administrator or the building inspector request is that those buildings should be plotted out. We used to always have them staked out so that we knew exactly
Exactly
where
where
it was
they were
going to
going.
go. Now, I mean, 10 feet, 15 feet,
Right. It's not that hard to stick in a string.
exactly, thank you, yeah.
All right,
I'd
so,
like to see it staked out.
I also think having it up by the house is gonna be a lesser impact on the stream.
well, as long as, they're not using it they're not gonna run water in the garage, there's nothing that's gonna run into the street.
I don't know, I don't.
Well,
you know,
they
when-
testified, I asked if they were gonna change.
Yeah, but if you look at your garage in the winter, with all the stuff that comes off your cars, your salt and everything else, and pools in there, and if it's wet, it can go out of, it can go out of your garage. And it can go into the stream.
Isn't the stream higher up?
I think it's a little higher up.
Is it higher up?
No.
You could answer that for us.
Well, we park our cars there now, so building the garage there doesn't add anything in terms of us parking the cars there. So in response to the salt and whatever coming off the cars, that's where they are now. So the garage doesn't add to that.
Is it me? Because I thought the stream was up a little higher.
What do you mean by up high?
Well,
The elevation of the
the
land.
elevation,
Slightly.
yeah, a little bit.
Yes, it is.
That's what I thought.
So any water would tend to run, anything
Run
coming
down,
out would
run
tend to
down.
run
Would
away
run
from it,
down,
yeah.
not up, yeah. Okay, back to the question. Can the benefit sought by any other feasible method which would not require an area variance or a lesser variance?
Personally, I have to say that, I'm sorry. I don't think there's any feasible method. I think this is the best place for that garage. I mean, it's certainly the most cost-effective, I think. To put it up by the house, they have stone wall embankments that would probably be very difficult to build inside of those embankments, I think. It's all blacktopped, which means all the blacktop would have to come out because there'd have to be some sort of a foundation. So I don't think there's any other feasible method. That's my opinion.
Okay, Mr. Kish?
Yeah, well, I think the whole thing really revolves around the stream. Because if the stream wasn't there, we'd be talking probably differently about
Right.
location. So
Right.
I think it's kind of boxed in, so I'd say, no, we can't do anything.
Mr. Dunn?
I'm going to say no.
Mr. Mauser?
No?
Mary?
I was gonna say yes.
And Mr. Ron?
I'll say no.
Okay. Whew. Question number 3, is the requested area variance substantial? Here we go again, because it's 100%. That's my opinion. Mr. Dunn, I heard you say absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mr. Kish?
Yes, I say yes, it is.
Kathy?
Yes, it is substantial.
Mr. Mauser?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Well, look at that, now we're going right along. I keep wanting to, Ron?
Yes.
Okay. Question number 4, will this proposed area variance, if granted, have any adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood? I have to say, no. I mean, the house has been there for, looks like a very long time. You know, we used to have when the house was built on these, applications. Is that still on there? Sometimes that's really, okay. Okay, Mr. Dunn,
Yeah, visually it's going to have an effect, but I don't think it's gonna be detrimental as far as the neighborhood is concerned.
okay, Mr. Kish,
I don't believe so. I think, the environmental issue is okay, so I don't think there's a problem.
okay, Kathy,
No, no problem.
all right, Robert,
Nope.
Mary,
No, I don't think it's gonna have any impact on the neighborhood, but I don't know how it's gonna affect or not affect the stream, so I just don't have an answer for that.
well, I thought we somewhat decided that the stream is a little bit higher elevation, so,
Again, I don't have an
Yeah.
answer one way or
Okay.
the other on that one. I can, but it's not going to,
all right. And Mr. Perry,
This is a much smaller garage than the first one we
right,
debated about. It does say it's a 3-car garage. I think I see a single bay and then a double overhead door.
yeah.
Is it gonna be a typical height? Is it gonna be like 16 feet tall? And what's the peak of the roof? And oh, I see, okay. All right, I can see now, yep.
You got it?
Yep, I don't have a problem.
Okay, question number 5, is the alleged difficulty self-created? Yes.
yes.
However, to deny the variance would deny this person, a garage for her vehicles. Okay, Mr. Dunn said yes. Mr. Kish,
Yes,
Self-created, yes.
Kathy, Mr. Mauser,
Yes.
and Mary,
Yes.
and Mr. Perry.
Yes.
All right. Whew. This is gonna get easier. Okay, anybody have any comments? All right, I'll take a motion to grant the variance request. Okay,
second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Do you wanna do a roll call or just,
So everybody said aye.
everybody said aye, okay.
Just yes, opposed and nobody,
Huh?
if you say opposed and no one answers.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I'm
no, it's just a
trying to think
suggestion.
ahead here, yeah.
Makes sense, good.
All right, anyone opposed? All right, carried. Moving right along. Item number 3. I'm gonna say 107 Ward Road, because I'm not gonna try to say the name.
Arcadia, somebody.
Oh, yeah, Arcadia. That's pretty good, that's pretty good, yeah.
Do you have to
All
read that resolution before we go to the next? Or no?
Yeah, probably. Did I forget that?
Yeah.
You can't kick me from there, can you? All right. All right, whereas the applicant Donna Milano, appeal number 1077, has submitted documentation in support of her application for an area variance, which under the Code of Town of Pleasant Valley requires the issuance of a variance, and whereas such documentation has been duly considered by the board at a public meeting, and whereas an area variance is a request for relief from dimensional standards contained in a zoning ordinance, whereas in making a determination of practical difficulty, the board may consider 1 through 5, which is the balancing test that you attach to this resolution. That criteria was voted upon by the board, whereas the board should grant the minimum relief necessary to allow reasonable use of the land. Now therefore be it resolved that the board finds that the following special circumstances or conditions exist which apply to the applicant's land and building. Again, I would say see the attached balancing test, because I wrote all of that on the side, that the garage is not directly in front of the house, that it's off to the side, and the most logical place to put the garage. And that even though it was self-created, it is not a reason to deny the applicant from having a garage. Resolved that for the reasons set forth above, the board determines that the granting of the variance is necessary for the reasonable use of the applicant's land, and that the variance as granted is a minimum variance that will accomplish the proposed use. And be it further resolved that the board determines that the granting of the variance will be in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the zoning chapter of the Code of Pleasant Valley. It will not be injurious to the neighborhood or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare. And we already voted on it, right? All right. Okay, you're all good. Okay, we have the minutes from February 20.
No, we got it. We have 107 Ward Road.
Oh, I'm looking at
Appeal
him, I'm telling him
1078.
it's all good.
Legal, yeah.
It is, okay, as long as it is. Oh, here we go.
Will I lose it? Oh, here it is. Okay. Shall we do the balancing test? Question number 1, will there be an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties if the variance is granted? The deck is only, is it 6, was it 6 inches or 6? Yeah, 6 inches more.
No, 6
No, it's
feet.
more than
6 feet.
6 feet, yeah.
6 feet longer.
6 feet, yes, to the east, and then a little bit, 28 inches to the north.
Okay. Will there be an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties?
Steve?
Mr. Kish?
No, I don't believe so. No.
Kathy?
No.
Mr. Mauser?
No?
Mary?
No.
Ron?
No.
Okay, that house was built in, house was there since 1955. Right, with no detriment. Okay. Question number 2, can the benefit sought be achieved by any other feasible method which would not require an area variance or a lesser variance? I mean, everything seemed pretty permanent there. I say no.
No, yeah, I said no.
Okay. Kathy?
No.
Mr. Dunn? Robert?
No.
Mary?
No.
Ron?
No.
Okay. Is the requested area variance substantial?
Yes.
You think it is?
Isn't it 55 feet? Didn't we just come up with that?
Yeah. Where are you? Oh, okay. Mr. Dunn? Is it substantial?
Absolutely.
John, you gotta talk into the microphone.
All right. Yes, it is substantial.
Steve?
No, but I mean, this question.
Is it substantial?
Oh, is it substantial?
Oh, the back one. Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
Kathy?
Yes, it's substantial.
Robert?
Say yes.
Okay. And Ron?
Yes.
However, to deny it, even though it is substantial, it would deny the applicant a deck big enough. That's, oh. Deck big enough to enjoy with family.
How come that's, when we answer that question, that's the only time you say that?
What?
To deny it based on?
No,
on that-
I
on that
didn't
one.
say to deny it.
To
To deny it would deny the
But
applicant.
you don't say that in every question. Why just on?
I don't know,
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Because that could be on every single
It
question.
could, it absolutely could, so say it next time. Will a proposed area variance, if granted, have any adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood? We say, Steve?
No.
Mr. Dunn?
No.
Kathy?
No.
Robert?
No.
Mary?
No.
Smith is absent. Ron?
No.
House, it's been there, so. So we shouldn't have an impact. Oh, here's my favorite question. Is the alleged difficulty self-created?
Yeah.
It always is.
It always is.
Right. Should I just put yes for everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Anyone have any comments? All right. I'll take a motion to approve the variance.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Whereas the applicant arcs someone, isn't that awful?
Arcadia.
How did you say the last name? Pegden. And Sam Knowlton has submitted documentation for appeal number 1078 for an area variance, which under the code of Town of Pleasant Valley requires the issuance of a variance. And whereas such documentation has been duly considered by the board at a public meeting, and whereas an area variance is a request for relief from dimensional standards contained in the code ordinance zoning ordinance, and whereas in making a determination of practical difficulty, the board has considered the balancing tests 1 through 5, which criteria was voted upon by the board, please see the attached. Whereas the board should grant the minimum relief necessary to allow reasonable use of the land. Now therefore be it resolved that the board finds that the following special circumstances or conditions exist which apply to the applicant's building. The house was built in 1955 and is non-conforming. The topography surrounding the house is such that any other flat area is non-existent and the owner is non-existent and the owner is remodeling. Be it resolved that the board finds that the above circumstances or conditions are such that strict application of the provisions of Chapter 98 of the Code of the Town of Pleasant Valley results in practical difficulty and would deprive the applicant of the reasonable use of his or her land. And be it further resolved that for the reasons set forth above, the board determines that the granting of the variance is necessary for the reasonable use of the applicant's land and that the variance as granted is a minimum variance and will accomplish the proposed use. And be it further resolved that the board determines that the granting of the variance will be in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the zoning chapter of the Code of Pleasant Valley and will not be injurious to the neighborhood or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare.
Point of order.
Yeah, we have to vote.
Okay. All those in favor?
Point of order before you do.
What?
You didn't list what the variance is in there, how much
Oh, sorry.
footage you want.
Okay. The applicant would like to erect a new terrace and expand the existing deck. A 70-foot front yard setback is required, but since they wish to expand the non-conforming deck, a variance of 55 feet is required and will be 16 feet from the front property line. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Now you're good. And we do have minutes for February 26, 2005.
Oh, thank you.
I found nothing.
Page 1, fourth line up.
All right.
Ms. Dunn did not second it.
Aw, darn.
Hey, Donald Trump says there's only 2 sexes.
All right, anything else? Any other additions or corrections?
I didn't see any.
Okay, then I'll take a motion to accept the minutes from February 26, 2025 as amended.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I have nothing else. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
That was fun.